If you don't have any of these things, for this one you have to get. The bank statement shouldn't be a deposit alone. It should be an inflow and outflow of cash. It doesn't really make sense to the visa officer. You can get sponsors for your education. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. To my new subscribers, my name is Gifty. Thank you for passing by and staying here with me. I mostly share content about anything in helping you in relocating to Canada and life in Canada in general. To my returning subscribers, thank you very much, family, for always being here with me. I really appreciate. So basically today we will talk about one of the important aspects of your study permit application. Getting an institution alone cannot bring you to Canada. You need a visa to land yourself here. And without visa, we have one requirement which is very vital. That is your proof of funds. Your proof of funds. Today we will talk about that, the documents you need to prove to, the amounts you need to prove to, and how are you going to prove this to them, in what medium, in what form will you prove this to them. So please don't go anywhere, stay with me here. For what is proof of funds? Proof of funds is a set of documents or a document that you need to prove to show your financial capability in supporting yourself and your family when you land yourself in Canada. Okay, so it's a form of document. It is not a physical thing. It is not like a cash, a fund in the form of a cash. It's just a document, a hard copy of whatever that you want to use to prove to the visa officer that this is the money that I have to sponsor myself when I land in Canada. Okay, so it's not like you will bring dollar in the form of a cash. It is just a proof that you need to show. So the Canadian government has given one or two things that you can use to prove your financial capability when you land yourself in Canada. The first one that we will talk about today is proof of a Canadian bank account in your name if you've transferred money to Canada. Okay, basically what this means is that you would have to prove that you have a bank in Canada. So you would ask yourself, how will I open bank accounts whilst I am back home? You can do this remotely. You just look for some financial institutions in Canada remotely. You can contact them that you want to open a bank account with them, then take one or two documents from you and they will let you fill forms that you can use to prove to them, and they will help you to open this bank account. So when you open this bank account, the next thing you have to do is that you would have to transfer money into that bank account. Okay, so if you transfer money into this bank account, then you can print a statement from it, or you will have your Canadian financial institution to print a statement for you detailing your closing balance and the information of you. Okay, because it should be in your name. Please, if you don't have this medium of proving your funds, please don't stress yourself. The second one that we will talk about is a guaranteed investment certificate. We call it GIC, from a participating Canadian financial institution. So basically, GIC is a fixed deposit that you will make in bank account. Okay, so it's just like a savings account. Okay, but just as savings, you can withdraw money each and every time. But GIC is something that you will be putting money in it for a guaranteed period of time, and this will give you a return of interest within that period of time. So basically, it's like you depositing money for a period of time, then it will generate an interest for you. Okay, so it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. Okay, then you would have to prove to the visa officer that you have a GIC certificate. Okay, and this is your deposit that you have, and this is the amount that you will get at this specific time. So this is a way that you can prove your funds in supporting yourself when you land yourself in Canada. And it should be reasonable. It shouldn't be like your study permit or your stay is ending in 2 years and your guaranteed investment certificate proves that you will get the money in 3 years. I don't know if you are getting me very well. Yes. And you proving that to the visa officer, you have to let the visa officer know you have this amount with you, that with that amount you have to even get some amount with you. With that certificate, you have to get an amount with you that you can attach, because at the end of the day that money cannot be spent. Okay, it is for some period of time, so you have to get an amount that before that period that you can withdraw that money from your investment. You have this money that you will depend on till you gain this money, then you use it. So you have to get something, then you use this to also prove that at this time I will be getting this money. Okay, so this is one thing that you can use to prove your funds, that is guaranteed investment certificate. So you just print out the certificate and you use it as part of your visa documentation. So the third one that I will be mentioning today is proof of a student's or education loan from a bank. So maybe you have taken an education loan from a bank. What you have to do is that you have to provide the loan agreement form. Then you can use the original copies for your visa application. The fourth one that we talk about, that I know this is convenient for any of you, and if you don't have any of the documents for this one, you have to get it. So it says your bank statement for the past 4 months. Okay, so this means that your own bank statement, it could be current account, savings account, business account, any bank account that you have, you would have to print a 4-month statement. So let's say you are in this month, okay, the month of October, then to make sure that the document, the statement you are providing is 4 months back. It should be up to date as well. You have to print your bank account, which is 4 months. It should be updated for 4 months. So if you are printing it in this month of October, then you have to make sure that the bank statement is backdated to, okay, so that it will be updated to this month. It should be current, okay, but it is 4 months back. Using this statement, you can prove to the visa officer that this is the closing amount that you have in your bank account. So you can use this to prove your financial capability in supporting yourself. One thing that I will add about this is that the bank statement shouldn't be a deposit alone. It should be an inflow and outflow of cash. It should be transaction in, transaction out. And one thing about bank statement is that it shouldn't be that shows some huge sum of money at a spot. Maybe you are applying for your visa today, and yesterday or the day before yesterday or last week there is a huge sum of money in it which doesn't tally with the previous transactions that you were having. So maybe your bank statement gives a transaction account of 1,000, 3,000, 4,000, and suddenly because you are applying for your visa or because you are about to apply for your visa, you deposited a huge sum of money in your bank account, like 10,000. It doesn't really make sense to the visa officer, because while that you are applying your visa now and looking at your statements, it looks like you were receiving one or two cash of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Suddenly we are seeing 10,000. So what you have to do, probably you've sold your business or you've sold your assets and you've deposited the money in it. You have to prove to them that this is what you sold, or this is the reason why that huge sum of money is placed into your account. You have to show an evidence and also include it in your statement of purpose, because you won't get a chance to be interviewed for Canadian visa application. So you have to explain each and everything that it will raise an alarm in the head of the visa officer. How you will prove this is that you just have to print the statement and your closing balance should be included. The statement might not be from you. Probably you don't have that amount in your bank account. You can get sponsors for your education, so your mom can sponsor, your father can sponsor, your siblings, your uncles, those related to you, of which I know your nuclear family will be the best. External family can also support you if you have the evidence. Maybe your uncle, your auntie, any of them can sponsor you, but you should add what we call affidavits of support, statements of support. So the person sponsoring you should attach with the bank statements he is providing for your education a statement of support that this is my niece, this is my nephew, this is my son, this is my daughter, this is my sister, this is my brother, and I am supporting with this amount of money for his or her education. The next one that we will talk about is a bank draft that can be converted to Canadian dollars. Okay, so what this basically means is that prove to the visa officer that you can sponsor your education or your living expenses in Canada using a bank draft. So a bank draft is a payment order made by the bank for a specific amount of money. So that money should be able to be converted into Canadian dollars. Okay, so how you can prove this is that you would have to bring the original bank draft, then attached to this they would provide you with a letter detailing that the bank draft is authentic. Okay, it should show the authenticity of that bank draft. So the next one that we will talk about is proof you paid tuition and housing. So yes, you can prove your finance by providing your tuition fee or your payment of your accommodation. Okay, so though the tuition payment is not actually part of your visa requirements, but because you want to prove to the visa officer that you are financially stable, you would prove this by giving your tuition pay. Maybe you've paid your tuition for a semester, for a year. So let's say they demand of you an amount of 20. Let's use that as an example, an amount of 20, and you have paid your tuition of 10, your accommodation of 5, then you are left with only 5 to prove to the visa officer. So you see how you can use your tuition fee or your accommodation to prove your fact. Then you attach to it your tuition receipt or your accommodation payment receipt, or you can even use your lease agreement form attached to your bank statement. Then you can use this to prove as your means of support. The next one that we will talk about is a letter from the person or school giving you money. That maybe you are having some sponsorship from a school back home, they are sponsoring your education, or an institution you were working in, they will sponsor your education, or probably it's from an organization. You can use this as your proof of fund. All what they have to do is that to give you an evidence of it. If it is a letter, if it is a bank draft, if it is a bank statement that they can provide you, then you can use this in support of your proof of funds. The last one that we will talk about is proof of funding paid from within Canada. Proof of funding paid from within Canada. If you have a scholarship or are in a Canadian funded education. So basically what this means is that probably you are having a Canadian funding education, or you even had a scholarship when you applied for your education, and they are stating that they will give you a scholarship for maybe your living expenses, or they will cater for your living expenses and your tuition. So what you have to do is that you just have to provide the letter of this award they are giving you. There you can use it to attach to your visa application as your proof of fund. So this is one or two things that you can use as your proof of fund, stating to the visa officer processing your permit that you are able to sponsor yourself, or you will be able to sponsor yourself when you land in Canada. If you can't get any of this, relax, don't worry. At least just have that bank statement either from you or your sponsor. If you don't have any of this, that one you have to get. I also know there are some other ways that you can use to prove your funds, like using an asset or a company or business, but it should be something that can be converted into money. I know you are asking yourself right now, how much will I need to have in my bank account? Everything is money matter. So the amount that you need to have is that you, the main applicant, you have to get 10,000 Canadian dollar, okay? 10,000 Canadian dollar. And if you are coming with your family, then you add, especially those with a spousal open work permit, okay, you would add 4,000 Canadian dollar, okay? Then if you have a dependent, which is your child, then one child will be 3,000 Canadian dollars, okay? So this is the amount you need to prove. And as it is stated there, amount does not include your tuition. So it basically means that the 10,000 that you are proving is just for your living expenses. It's for your living expenses alone. So this one plus the sum of your tuition, 1 year tuition fee. So if your tuition fee is 15,000, then you have to add it to the 10,000, which will give you 25,000, okay? That is for a year. They just need you to prove that you can support yourself for a year, okay? So it wouldn't be like you will have the opportunity to work. You tell the visa officer that when I come, I will work and I'll get money to sponsor myself. No, you have to prove that you are capable of sponsoring yourself, okay? So normally my advice would be that don't just give a fixed amount, just like your tuition is 15 and your proof of living expenses and others is stated as 10,000. So you would give 25 as a proof of fund in your bank statement. No, you have to make it extra a little bit, at least a little bit, because you don't know the expenses will be increased later, or you would have some miscellaneous expenses to make and other stuff. So you have to let your bank statement prove that yes, you have enough fund. And mostly those that you would get a sponsor, maybe your sponsor is working as a businessman and he is providing you with his business account. Okay, what I am trying to tell you is that maybe the bank statements, the closing balance is 10,000. So right now I am a human being. If I am a visa officer, I would be thinking that okay, this is a business account, and that means that this is the same money you are using for your business transactions, and it is 10,000. I also need a proof of 10,000. So how are you going to sponsor me and manage your business as well? You get what I'm trying to figure out here? Yes, so the bank statement should be enough. It should be enough. Don't make it a fixed amount, okay? So this is how you can prove your funds to the visa officer for your study permit application. If you have any question, please leave it in the comment section or join my WhatsApp group and I would be happy to answer all your questions, okay? And one thing I will tell you is that apart from this thing, you have to add prayers. You have to add prayers, okay? I will always say this and say it again because I know what prayers has gotten me into, okay? So I will tell you that after providing all these documents, try and pray over it. Please, if this information has been vital to you now, what I want you to do is that just subscribe for me if you haven't, okay? Like this video and share to others who would need this information to benefit them as well. Thank you for staying on with me.